It's Caitlin Clark Mania, and here we go again. 1.3 million people tuned in. Caitlin Clark playing against a bunch of people you've never heard of. You're calling yourself out, Mama Reese, because you seem to be the only one hating. Did Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese point at the ring finger? May the 17th. In Indianapolis, Indiana, when the season is going to be kicked off with the Ali Frazier of our generation. Caitlin Clark hosting the Chicago Sky and Angel Reese.
And now a man who once challenged Duran Duran to a street fight, Ricky Cobb.
Oh yeah, and welcome, you sweet bastard. Caitlin Clark and the Caitlin Clark effect, which is still strong. ESPN already enjoying the dividends of airing Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever against what I gotta believe is the B team from Brazil. They lost 108-44, but nobody cares about the players from Brazil, and let's be honest, few people care about any of the other members of the Indiana Fever. It's Caitlin Clark Mania, and here we go again. 1.3 million people tuned in on Sunday afternoon to see Caitlin Clark return to Iowa as a professional and start raining in three-pointers from ridiculous distances. To put this into context, 1.3 million. You may say, well, you know, what does that really mean? What does a game ordinarily get? Listen to this. Only 2 of ESPN's 57 NBA preseason games that they've aired since 2010 have scored a higher rating than Caitlin Clark taking Brazil to the woodshed and laying it to them out there. In both of the NBA games that rated higher involved LeBron. So apparently Caitlin Clark playing against a bunch of people you've never heard of, and I can't imagine how bad this Brazil team is. That actually rates higher than 55 of 57 NBA preseason games that they've aired. If you want to know how popular Caitlin Clark is, if you're wondering if any of the mania has worn off, the early indications for year 2 of Caitlin Clark as a professional is that no, our public has by no means gotten enough of this young woman's talent just yet. I'll tell you who has enough of it, and that would be Angel Reese's mom. We haven't heard from her yet on this program. We've talked a lot about Angel Reese and things that Angel Reese has said, but Angel Reese's mom taking to X to tweet this after all of the hullabaloo about Caitlin Clark and the high ratings. She says, that certain fan base looking in the stands celebrating attendance while others are looking up in the rafters celebrating championship banners. We ain't the same. Different year, same haters. Have a great day. Well, all right. It is a different year, and it is the same haters, but I think you're calling yourself out, Mama Reese, because you seem to be the only one hating that I've seen early on in the 2025 WNBA season. Were any of Caitlin Clark's fans talking about Angel Reese? Was anybody talking about Angel Reese? Who are the haters? Are the haters the people that just enjoy seeing Caitlin Clark play basketball and they're willing to tune in and do that in record numbers? Who's hating on the Reeses? Okay? Did Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese point at the ring finger back at LSU? Did Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese hop up off the bench like a member of Cobra Kai when Kennedy Carter cheap-shotted Caitlin? Does Caitlin Clark make Angel Reese complain about everything? She can't afford to pay her rent. She can't do this. She can't do that. A lot of whining. But then all of the narcissistic comments at the same time. And maybe she comes by it honest if this is her mother's take. But the point here is nobody was talking about Angel Reese until you interjected into it, Mother Reese. And I think that was the point, wasn't it, really? The point is you want people talking about Angel Reese at all times, and how do you when you're that thirsty for attention, how do you get it? Well, you go to the well of Caitlin Clark and Caitlin Clark fans, and you try to pick a fight on social media. And then you blame Caitlin Clark fans for it, for the crime of enjoying Caitlin Clark playing basketball. Go figure. I played a little basketball in my day. As you might imagine, I know you look at me and you think, well, that guy probably has a huge vertical. Surprisingly, not so much. I could get the bottom of the nets. I could get the backboard back in the day. I remember in junior high, first time I got the bottom of the nets. That's an important milestone in any young man's life. You get the backboard, that's pretty good. But for some of us who are gravitationally challenged, even when I was young and thin and as fit as I could be, I was not going to be dunking, but I didn't let that stop the dream. I used to think that it was all about the shoes. Isn't that what we were led to believe? I want to be like Mike. Get a pair of Air Jordans, but before Michael wore Nikes, guess what? Back at North Carolina, he was wearing Converse, my friends. And there was nothing like opening that box of new sneakers, carefully taking them out, and thinking to yourself, this is the week that I'm going to be able to dunk. Do we have this tweet? There we go. Look at those. Take a look at those bad boys. As you carefully open the box, you knew the plan was clear. This week is the week that I'm going to dunk. Then you went out there in your new shoes and you found out that you were still gravitationally challenged in new shoes. And your parents were a little poorer, is what happened. So one thing that I have in common with 99+% members of the WNBA is I can't dunk either. But don't let that kill your enthusiasm for May the 17th in Indianapolis, Indiana, when the season is going to be kicked off with the Ali Frazier of our generation. Caitlin Clark hosting the Chicago Sky in Angel Reese. The Indiana Fever at Gamebridge Fieldhouse in Indianapolis. That's right. As you would expect for this marquee event, they have moved to the Pacers' big building, and they are going to be filling it, I am reasonably sure. So Caitlin Clark, the MVP quest is on. I'm tripling down on my prediction. Caitlin Clark will be your WNBA MVP this year. Let me now welcome to the program the international streaming star who joins me from Nashville, Tennessee. He is, of course, Ronnie T-Shirts. And Ronnie, as much as I know that you would love to just chime in and get going on Angel Reese, I'm going to spare you that today, Ron, because we're going to do something a little bit different here. The Met Gala. Do you follow the annual Met Gala in New York at all, Ron?
It's my dream to go, Ricky. It is my dream to go. I am hoping that if we do this long enough, I will achieve a level of stardom where I will get an invite. It's my dream.
Big question, if that day comes, is what will you wear? It's like the Kentucky Derby. People are more concerned about what they're wearing than what happens in the race itself. The Met Gala, it's a place to go to be seen, Ron, is what it comes down to. And we're doing something here we've never really done before. This has a little what the fuck Ron flavor to it. Jared and Tim have curated some photos of celebrities at the Met Gala last night, and we are going to look here in real time. I don't know if you've seen any of this.
I have not.
I have not. All right, so we are going to be reacting here. If you want to start feeding us some Met Gala attendees, gentlemen, we will react to what the folks were wearing last night. Everybody wants to be talked about. Was Angel Reese there? I'm sure she would have loved to have been there. Would have had people talking about her today, Ronnie. But, okay, what do we have here? Is this, I'm being told this is Stefon Diggs, Ronnie. Stefon Diggs there. I don't.
Is that a big scarf? Is it a blanket? I do like.
Is that a fur? I think it's a fur.
I do like the red
made
shoes.
From the fur of some exotic animal?
Yeah, I like the red
what
shoes.
We got happening here? Well, you like colorful shoes. That is,
I do.
That is, in fact, true. Jalen Hurts was there as well, I am told. He, of course, recently passed on the Philadelphia Eagles White House trip, but we make time for what we consider important.
Dude, it looks like somebody took a magic marker to a picture and put a mustachy goatee thing on his face and eyebrows.
Well,
those don't even look real.
Well, he always looks like the boyfriend from like a Hallmark special or something. He always looks like he's
comes back to town, and
he comes back to town, and Queen Latifah's like, "Oh my God, he's back," or whatever.
He quits his high-paying job in the city.
Yeah, moves back to the small town. Maybe
opens up a bookstore.
Opens up something. Yeah, maybe a bookstore as well. Justin Jefferson was there as well, Ron. I don't know Jalen's little cap there. I could see you pulling off that little cap.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot. Is he wearing curtains?
No, that's from the 2003 WNBA draft.
There you go. You may ask yourself, how did I get here? And the days go by.
I assume he did the gritty while he was there, right? I mean, he had to do the gritty.
Making sense energy there. Hey, look, I don't know what that is. What size coat is that? Is that like a 78? All right, let's see. What do we got here? I don't know who's next, Ron, in fact. But I do hear that we have a couple more forthcoming. Oh, well, this wasn't last night. There's a couple of guys who are actually dressed in a pretty classy manner, and I'd like to believe that Muhammad Ali was the guy who was honest enough to say, "Man, your wife is crazy. Your friends are afraid to tell you." Somebody needed to tell John Lennon. That's a failure of friendship right there. Somebody just needed to tell the guy. How could he have not known? Did he know? Everybody else knew that Yoko sucked. How could John have been blind to it? One of the greatest musicians of the modern era, and somehow just going around doing all this crazy shit that Yoko was instigating it. You remember 1963, 64, 65? Remember Help, John Lennon? He was a cool motherfucker. Then the next thing you know, he weighs 93 pounds and his wife's screaming all the time, everywhere he goes. John. He lost it. Look at Spike Lee. Skipping the Knicks to go to the Met Gala. Well, that doesn't sound like a Knicks super fan to me.
No chance.
Come on, Spike. You missed out on a big win. But, I don't know what's in is that a man purse / briefcase?
/ lunchbox?
We got going there?
Looks more like a lunchbox.
Looks like he might have a PB&J in there, Ron.
You think that it's got like Kool-Aid? He's got the Waltons on the other side of that? Is that a Waltons lunchbox?
What better way to enjoy the Met Gala than having your mom pack a sandwich for you? But right now, let's talk NBA on this program, because it is my great pleasure right now to welcome in friend of the program and one of my very favorite journalists covering the topic of the NBA or anything else for that matter. He's a senior columnist for The Athletic. The great David Aldridge joins me. David, how are you?
I'm good, Ricky. How you doing, man?
I'm good, brother. I am good. Let's jump in here with this NBA stuff, man. I'll start with LeBron, because no matter what happens in the NBA, LeBron is always at the top of mind. Mm-hmm. Look, he's got some time to make a decision here on this player option, David. What do you think is going to happen? Is LeBron going to come back to the Lakers? Is he going to look to find a path elsewhere? What are you hearing?
I mean, I'd be surprised if he left. I think he's pretty settled in LA now. with not just with the Lakers, but the other businesses he has and the other ventures he has off the floor. Most of which are many of which are based in Hollywood and doing deals with people. So I'd be surprised at this point. I think he obviously has autonomy about where he wants to go, but I think it's, I don't think it's being critical of LeBron to say that, he doesn't fit everywhere anymore. You know what I mean? Like LeBron at 30 fits everywhere. You take your whole franchise apart to get a guy like that at 30. But at 40, with what he can do and what he's not as good at anymore, he doesn't fit with everybody. Like, I know there's been there's always speculation that he wants to finish in Cleveland. I'm not sure he really fits what the Cavaliers are doing anymore. Like, they've kind of moved on and they've built a really good team with some great young players. And a team that has LeBron on it has to accept the fact that he's going to have the ball in his hands a lot and control it and decide where it goes. And even on a team with Luka, that's still going to be the case a lot of the time. And that's not really how the Cavaliers are kind of structured now. So again, I think it makes more sense for him to stay. The question is, what kind of contract does he get? He's usually been signing these 1 year, these 1-1 deals 1 year, then a player option, and then 1 year and a player option. And so I suspect it'll be something along those lines for him to come back, because a chance to play with Luka for a full season with a full training camp, I think has some possibilities. They were very good for most of the season after the trade, and then the playoffs were a different animal, because they always are a different animal. But that combination is pretty good, I think, over 82 games.
We had a couple of upsets last night. Let's start with the New York Knicks taking down the Boston Celtics, coming from 20 points down. And the headline here for me and David, I don't want to beat a dead horse, although I do. Mm-hmm. The Celtics missed 45 threes last night.
Yeah.
In blowing a 20-point lead and losing by 3 points to the Knicks. I know this is the reality of the league that we're in, but right. What do you see when you look at that series? And does this win change the calculus at all for you that the Knicks might be able to do something here in this series?
Well, I mean, look, the Knicks they proved in the Detroit series they can win. They can be a good team on the road, right? I mean, they did it twice. They're not afraid to play the Celtics, I'm sure. I mean, look, I agree with you, Ricky. I understand threes more than two. I get it. I do. I really do understand it. I get it. And I get that the process
yes.
The process is to make sure you take as many threes as humanly possible. I just think you have to, at some point, understand the game you're playing tonight, right? Like whatever you're doing tonight, it's like a boxer. Like Mike Tyson always says, everybody has a plan until they get hit in the mouth, right? So, and sometimes you have to change the plan, So to me, when you're missing threes over and over and over again, maybe this isn't the night you should take 60 threes. Just to keep shooting threes makes no sense. So you'd like to think, look, Boston will shoot better. They've been a great shooting team for 2 years. I can't imagine that that's going to change in this series. But you have to have something. You have to have another pitch. You can't just keep throwing fastball. If they're tattooing your fastball, throw something else, try something else. And I think Boston has to try something else in this series. They've got guys, New York does not have great size, especially in the front court, in the backcourt, I should say. So those are things that are exploitable. And it doesn't mean I'm saying post Jrue Holiday up or, post Derek White up. I'm just saying, get to the basket. You have advantages there. Get to the basket. And it's not like, other than Mitchell Robinson, they don't have a lot of shot blocking either. So it's not like there's a guy standing there that's keeping you from doing it. You got guys that can get to the rim, get fouled, and shoot free throws. Try some of that. Throw some of that in, along with all the threes you want to take. And I think Boston will have a better go of it going forward.
Yeah, it's part of your balanced breakfast or something like that. But they
right.
63 pointers attempted last night, only 37 twos, David.
Yeah.
37
Yeah.
two-pointers attempted in the game. So that's how that went down. The other one last night, the upset, the number one seed in the West, best record in the league, 68 win Oklahoma City Thunder. Go down to the Nuggets. Jokic, 42, 22, and 6. It's no surprise to see him do that kind of thing. But you've got a coach in David Adelman who he's now coached far more postseason games for the Nuggets than regular season games. He's 3-0 regular season in his career, and yet here they are, one game up on an outstanding Thunder team. What do you make of this series?
I mean, that was really shocking to see that, because OKC was up the whole game, basically. I mean, they weren't up by 20 a lot, but they were up by 10 most of the game, right? And Denver kept chipping away. And this is one where I think I agree with the process on this one, because they were fouling up 3, and because they lost the game, everybody's saying you shouldn't have done it. But that's actually the smart play, is to foul up 3. Because you get the ball back. That's why you do it. You get the basketball back, so you can keep scoring conceivably. Now, what happened is that Chet Holmgren missed 2 free throws with 10 seconds left. You're not expecting that. Like, if he makes, he just has to make 1, and the game goes to overtime, right? Because it's more likely, in my view, if you're down 2, that you're going to try to tie the game, especially when you're on the road, as opposed to trying to win the game. Now, they got in a scramble, and it was in transition, and Aaron Gordon took the 3, and he made it, and they win because he made it. But he could have missed it, and then you would say, well, why didn't you try to tie the game? You know what I mean? So you could. I don't mind OKC fouling. I know they're getting a lot of heat on that this morning. I think that's actually the right move to make in that situation. It was unlucky that they fouled with Jokic on the bench, because I know everybody's killing him for that because Jokic was on the bench, but you still don't want to give up a 3-point shot no matter who's on the floor, right? So I get why OKC fouled in those situations.
David, as we look at it now, I mean, do you still like the number 1 seeds? I mean, I don't know if those were your picks going in, but what do you think right now, looking at it as it stands? Yeah, do you still think we're looking at Thunder Cavaliers most likely?
I think so. I think so. I mean, I think in the East, I think Boston could easily get back to the finals. Like if they do win this series, I think Boston. I would think Boston would beat Cleveland in a conference final, but it'd be a great series. But yeah, I mean, I still think OKC's been the best team all year, and I think over 7 games they'll be the best team in this series. But it's Jeff Van Gundy says this all the time: you can't lose playoff games. Like especially when you're up in the head most of the time. I mean, those are devastating. And Denver's got a team that just won a championship 2 years ago. It's not like it was 12 years ago, right? And so, and Jokic in this series, as good a defense as OKC plays, you saw it last night. He didn't have any problem scoring. He didn't have any problem getting fouled, drawing fouls, and getting to the line. So, Holmgren's a terrific defensive player. Hartenstein's a really good defensive player, but he didn't have any problems doing what he needed to do to help them win that game. So I think in that series, that could be. It's going to be hard. It's going to be harder than we probably all thought for OKC to beat Denver. But I still will believe the numbers in terms of their overall rating and their overall margin of victory over the season. Those are championship level numbers. People who have numbers that high usually win NBA championships or get to the finals. So I'm going to stick with that.
All right, David, before I get you out of here, I'm going to give you maybe the toughest matchup to analyze yet, because we can't have you on the program without getting into some Super 70s content here, because you get it, obviously. And so I've got 2. I know that we share a love of bad 70s variety specials. It touches close to both of our hearts. Whenever Professor Erwin Corey is involved, it's always a good time. So I have 2 70 specials here for your consideration that I would argue they're both kind of, we're scraping the bottom of the barrel a little bit here. Let's start, guys, with this Johnny Cash special. And this one, this could be from the early 80s, David, actually.
Right.
I'm not 100% sure, but it's the Johnny Cash Spring special.
All right.
David, spring is the occasion. Spring has sprung. So let's bring in Johnny Cash and Martin Mull and just see what happens. We've got Waylon Jennings, George Jones, Earl Scruggs, Hank Williams Jr., the Carter family, the Tennessee Three, and then for some reason Martin Mull.
Martin Mull is just in the mix.
He's in the mix. He was available.
Coming off of Fernwood tonight. You love it.
Yeah. He's like the only guy who's not in the Country Music Hall of Fame.
Right.
Let's just add Martin Mull to this. So here's one special for you. You know, what better way to commemorate spring, I guess, honestly, David.
Yeah.
It makes too much sense not to do it. Here's another one for you. Consider this one. Perry Como's Easter by the Sea.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
The tweet here, of course, we need an Easter special. Is Perry Como available? We've done that before. Then put him on a boat this time, goddammit.
Who else is on the sea with Perry Como? Do we have guest stars?
I'm glad you asked, sir, because we have I believe the TV Guide ad for that as well.
There we go. Who do we have there?
Debbie Boone and Kenny Rogers are hopping aboard for this one. What do you think?
Oh, it's outstanding at SeaWorld. So you get orcas, you get the whale, you get the killer whale.
Yes. There will be orcas involved.
If you're asking me to pick, I was going with Johnny Cash. I was going to go with Johnny Cash because Johnny Cash, great entertainer, and I don't know what Martin Mull would do and I don't know if they do a bit. I don't know if they'd have some sort of wacky humor.
It's intriguing. Is what it is.
But the killer whale, the chance that the killer whale would eat Debbie Boone is just too much to pass up. I got to go Como on this.
Two and Tyson. Look at that. A surprise. The upset is Aldridge.
I got to go Como because of the whale.
Easter by the Sea. Yeah. Shamu looking on as Debbie Boone belts out. You light up my life.
Have a bad day, and then it's curtains for Debbie Boone.
He absolutely could. David, as always, a pleasure, my friend. We appreciate the wisdom and appreciate the top-notch 70s variety special analysis as well.
Ricky, thank you, man. I always find you every day. You make me laugh. You're doing God's work, man. Thank you, man. I appreciate it. Anytime.
Hey, OutKick fans on YouTube. If you enjoyed this episode, hit the subscribe button and make your way over to OutKick.com where you can watch the full episode.